Okay, guys, I'm going to show you how to look up books or articles for the class visit this Friday at the University of Washington. So what you're first going to want to do is you're going to want to type in University of Washington Library, and you'll want to make sure that the website looks just like this, because I was in contact with a University of Washington person who was in the other end of the country at another University of Washington University. So you want to make sure that the site looks just like this. In the University of Washington Library homepage, you're going to want to type in what you are looking up. I'm just going to type in warfare and technology, and then I'm going to want to search. And then you might be kind of confused because it's going to take you to, it's not taking me there right now, but it's going to take you to a login page. Just go to enter as guest. Click on enter as guest, and then you'll come to this main page. So what this brings up is a list of sources that the University of Washington has on warfare and technology. Now, there's lots of ways to get this information, and the ways that you have already found this information is through databases that look like, if we look here, we can find JSTOR and ProQuest, ones that you probably used when you logged onto the EPS database, JSTOR, eLibrary, ProQuest. These are all databases that we subscribe to. These are databases that the University of Washington subscribes to. You can see there's JSTOR here, and if I clicked on Show More, you would see ProQuest. We're not using databases because you've already used databases here. Available online, we're not going to do that either, because when we're at the University of Washington, we want you to get print sources. So we really don't want you using your computers because you've already found online sources. You want to make sure you bring a USB stick because they're going to show you how to scan these articles, and then you can save them to a USB stick when you're there. So what we're going to look for, and what you are going to look for, is print sources. So I guess you can look for books. That might be thesis and dissertations. Those are people who are getting their doctorate. So you can absolutely look for these things if you want to, but at this point, going through a huge book might be kind of tedious, unless there's a particular chapter that you want to scan. So you can look for books. But right now, I'm going to show you how to look for articles. So first of all, I've already said this to you, but most people think that social scientists publish books. And it's true. Social scientists do, in the end, write books. That's what we're trying to get you to maybe eventually do in your life. Not that you have to at all. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So some of those popular social science books might look like the Green Illusions or Freakonomics. Maybe you've heard of that one. Or a famous one is called Outliers. I don't know if you guys have heard that. But most of the time, social scientists don't write books. They, write maybe a couple in their lifetime. But what they do is they write articles and essays, just like you're doing. And people print those in a social science journal like this, and they have you can find that social science journal with 20 different essays written on the interdisciplinary studies and communications, or philosophy and social sciences, or you get the point. Okay, so you're going to be trying to find articles within these social science journals. So that's why you want to click on article. You could click on the journal if you want to, but that might be a lot to be looking through. So you might find a journal on environment. You might find a journal on environment, and then you'd have to go through all those essays within that journal. So it might just be easier if you look for articles. So here is articles on warfare and technology. So I'm just going to click on the first one. This is Science and Technology in Iraq's Germ Warfare Program. Dang. Okay, so we want to see if the University of Washington has this in print. So we'll go down, and it says find a copy, not online. If you try to find it online, you're not going to be able to because you do not have a University of Washington login ID. So we're going to try to find it in the library. There are 17 copies. However, the University of Washington has lots and lots of libraries. They have a Bothell campus. They have, I don't know what auxiliary stacks are, and different other undergraduate library programs and blah, blah, blah. The library that we're going to be in is the Zuzu Allen Library. And look, this particular article is in the Zuzu Allen Library. So what you're going to want to write down is probably the library it's in. I actually don't know what this is, but you'll probably want to write that down. It's called Status. And then you also want to write down the call number. This is the most important, of course, because that's how you're going to find it on the shelves. And you also, of course, want to write down the name of the article, probably all this information here. If you can get the author's name, that would be fabulous. But I don't see it here. The Economist publication, all this information would be good. So then you'll find that article online. I'm sorry, not online, on the shelves. I want you guys to find about 3 different articles that you can look for. Now, I know that you're already getting really close to finishing up your research, but a good researcher is always still investigating as they're writing their paper. Hopefully you have a lot of primary sources at this point. These are not primary sources. These are secondary expert opinion sources that are really good to plug into your paper. One time in college, I wrote a paper only using secondary sources. So a secondary expert opinion. So this is really important. Of course, you don't want to have all secondary opinion expert people, but and you want to infuse it with primary sources. So hopefully at this point you can kind of look for some things that you want to plug into, some holes that you might see in your paper. So again, be looking for about 3 articles. What else did I want to say? Oh, one last thing. Another way you can look up articles is if you go to JSTOR. The University of Washington is so big that the guy I talked to said probably 80% of what you find on JSTOR you can find on the shelves at the University of Washington. So instead of looking at this title of this article, I'm just going to look up this author who probably is an expert in Chinese, maybe warfare and propaganda. So I'm just going to type that author's name in here. Or maybe there's an author that you have noticed is an expert in this field of yours that you're studying. And then, so he's written a number of books on the political communications in China, blah, 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 identity. So again, I'm just going to click on article, not all formats, because it will narrow my search down a little bit. And I'll just click on this particular article, and let's see if the University of Washington has it. Find a copy in the library. View more details. It looks like it's in the Tacoma branch. And the Bothell branch, but it's actually not in the particular library that we're going to on Friday, so bummer. Anywho, that is how you can search for your, just some extra cherry on top, put the frosting on the cake, things. Alright. 3 of them.